Unity of Houston is an inclusive church where we seek to understand and live the teachings of Jesus and other spiritual masters. At Unity, we welcome all people from all spiritual paths and every walk of life. We celebrate the diversity of our city and of our world, and we teach love, tolerance, and oneness, seeking to live in harmony with open minds and open hearts.
Wherever you are in your spiritual path, you are always welcome at Unity. Join us and discover that the life of your dreams is already within you.
We have with us tonight, he is an ordained Unity minister. He's the founder of Mindfulness Ministries. He's from Kansas City, where he lives now. He's an insight meditation teacher and a spiritual director. He's the author of 4 Unity books. The one that many of us hold dear to our heart is Finding Yourself in Transition. And he's also written The Quest for Wholeness, Birthing a Greater Reality, and Living Originally, which is the theme of our week this week. All those books are available in the bookstore, so check them out after the service. He conducts a variety of retreats, seminars, and classes that focus on meditation, self-awareness, and spiritual development. He's presented programs at over 100 Unity churches throughout the United States, Canada, and the Caribbean. And in 2012, he was the recipient of the Unity Worldwide Ministries Light of God Expressing Award for outstanding service to the Unity movement. Please give a warm welcome to Reverend Dr. Robert Brumet.
I guess I'm supposed to give a talk, but I'd rather just stand here and absorb all the wonderful energy. It's incredible, this ministry. It touches my heart deeply to see what you've done here, not just in the physical facility, but even more importantly, in the connection that you have with one another, in the transformation that's taking place here, in the very powerful leadership that you have. And I've seen in my classes, you all are teaching one another as much as I'm teaching you, and that touches my heart, and I love to do that. So I want to begin by saying thank you to each one of you that has helped me feel welcome here. Too many of you to mention meals, rides, et cetera, et cetera. Specifically, Michael, thank you for being here. John and Michael, thank you for last night. Wonderful dinner, sparkling conversation. And especially thank you, Reverend Jean Marie. She has taken care of me like I've never been taken care of before. So she's good. So my talk title is Being in the World, but not of it. So I want to start out by talking about what that means and also why we might want to be in the world and not of it. So I think we all know what it means to be in the world and to be of the world. It means to be in the din, the roar, the craziness, the ups, the downs of today's world. When we're in the world and we're of the world, we're defined by the world. We're owned by the world. Our value, our sense of happiness, joy, well-being goes up and down and up and down with the stock market, with the baseball scores, the football scores, with our political polls, whatever it is, you say, we go up and down and up and down. We are like puppets with about 500 strings attached to us, and any one of them can be pulled at any time. And I see this all over the place, not here, but I have a 18-year-old granddaughter whose life is defined by her relationship with her boyfriend. And so every time I talk to her, she's either in the stratosphere or she's ready to commit suicide. And That's just a microcosm of the macrocosm when we are embedded and attached to the world. So if you want to do that, fine. I've chosen to get off. I've gotten tired of the ride. Now, another option is to be not in the world and not of the world. Now, that sounds pretty good to some of us, but most of us are not drawn to being monastics or to live in a cave, to be hermits. Obviously, we're here to live among one another, to live with human beings somehow, and to not only live with, but to contribute to be part of, and to transform and evolve this world that we live in. So, how can we be in this world but not defined by it? How can I be free in the world? How can I be, as Emerson said, in the midst of the sweetness of solitude, in the middle of the crowd, you see? Those moments when we touch the deepest truth within us in meditation, can we carry that into the world with us? That's what it's like to be in the world and not of it. Throughout history, there's been many attempts by groups to be in the world and not of it. And to me, none of them really work, but they're beautiful people nonetheless. For example, there's many Christian communities, the Amish, the Mennonites, etc., the Mandas colonies. They're wonderful people, but their way of not being in the world is by being in a world that died out 200 years ago. So, in a way, they are in the world, but it's a world of 1850 rather than the world of 2020, you see. So, just trying to change our lifestyle is not enough. We have to go deeper than that. I've encountered, and perhaps you have too, some folks that are in the world and not of it, or they claim to be not of the world. These are folks that came in from the Pleiades, I think it was, that were born in some distant galaxy that showed up that aren't quite human, and they're here to fix us somehow. But the problem is with these folks, they're not only not of the world, they haven't even landed on Earth yet. They're still orbiting sometimes. So, again, those are wonderful folks. If you want to visit some of them, there's many places to go. Sedona is one. It's not the only place, but it's a beautiful place to be and a fun place to be. And closer to my own tradition, I do some Buddhist practice, that there's a phenomenon known as, that I have labeled, the counterfeit Buddha. The counterfeit Buddha is the Buddha who acts like he's enlightened, but really is just repressing everything. So they walk around with a smile on their face, acting like they're not touched by anything, and inside they're going, I don't think any of those work. If they did, I'd be trying them. I'd be teaching them. But I don't think they work. For me, the way I define it, being in the world and not of it, is living passionately in the world, living sanely in the world, yet not engaged in the craziness of the world. To be passionate without being crazy. It's really possible. I'd like to quote from Deepak Chopra, whom I think all of you are familiar with. He writes, "The world sometimes feels like an insane asylum. You can decide to be an inmate, or you can pick up your visitor's badge. They're available at the back of the sanctuary. You can be in the world, but not engage in the melodrama of it. You can become a spiritual being, having a human experience, thoroughly and fully. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. Now, which one do we put first? Which one are we most identified with? Many of us believe we're human beings and we're trying to have a spiritual experience. In Unity, we start out recognizing we are spiritual beings, perhaps with amnesia, but we still are spiritual beings nonetheless. What was it? One teacher said we're angels with amnesia, you see. So how do we experience this? I mean, it's one thing to say, yes, let's talk about it, let's believe in it, but how do we do it? So, what does it mean to have a human experience? What does it mean to have a human experience? Well, what are you experiencing right now? Seeing, most of us. Hearing, most of us. Sensing the body, most of us. Thinking, most of us. What else? Tasting, smelling, breathing. So that's what it means to be human. To see, hear, breathe, feel, touch, to want, to be. Can I be fully aware of my human experience while I'm in the world? So it begins with awareness. And it ends with awareness. And everywhere in between, there's awareness. That's really the key, to be awake. It takes practice. It takes practice, takes lots of practice. And that's why we're here to remind each other. And that's what spiritual practice is about. That's what Unity teachings are about. Stay awake. Stay awake. Stay awake in each moment. And we're here to maybe wake each other up. Sometimes we don't want to be awakened, do we? You know, I didn't know being awake felt like this. You know, I was enjoying my nap. This person disturbed me. See? I was dreaming that I was awake, and somebody woke me up. So, feeling, sensing, thinking, being fully in our bodies, fully in our hearts, fully in our minds, fully with our feet on the ground, and yet knowing that as spiritual beings we are lifted. There is a wind beneath our wings carrying us. It takes practice because we've been humans for a long time. You know, anthropologists tell us anywhere from, 6 million years to 200,000 years, depending on how you define human. But you know what? We've been spiritual beings even longer than that. But we have fallen asleep over the last 5 or 6 million years. It's been a long nap. And we're starting to slowly, individually, collectively, as a species, to wake up. And waking up isn't always easy. Sometimes when that alarm goes off, we don't want to get out of bed. We don't want to wake up. And so waking up isn't always pleasant. And if we fall asleep, at this particular point in our history, it can be very, very dangerous. So we need to stay awake, as difficult as it is. So, along with being awake and aware, another key practice is non-attachment. Now, non-attachment is not the same as detachment. Okay, what's the difference? Detachment is pushing my experience away. Non-attachment is embracing it fully and then letting it go of all results. Okay? I enter fully into the human experience, 100%. The whole catastrophe. And I let it go. And then I do that again. And I do that again. And I do that again. I give everything the light touch. The light touch meaning I touch it with light, the light of awareness, and I touch it lightly and move on. I'm not attached to the results of what I do. This is what I define as living originally in the text. Feel each response to your life experience deeply, whatever it is. Good, bad, or indifferent. Feel each response deeply and completely. Act as if everything you do matters to the utmost. Give life all that you've got. And yet, always remember, it's just a story. It's the human story. It's just a drama. It's just an experience. And every experience has one thing in common. Whether it's a wonderful or terrible experience. No matter what the experience is, no matter where it comes from, everyone has something in common. You know what it is? It never lasts. It never lasts. The wonderful meal we had last night, it's not here. That breath you took 10 seconds ago, it's not here. Whatever happened to you, for better or worse, it's not here now. Right now, you are here in this experience and in this moment. Open up. Live your life consciously, impeccably, and then let it go. Let your life unfold as it does, living it authentically and consciously. So we live as if everything matters and as if nothing matters. Because both are true, you see. What really matters is not what we think matters. It's not so much the results of what we do, but it's the quality of how we live our life. It's not the quantity. It's not the outcome. It's not whether we feel good or bad, but it's the quality of our presence. And it's that presence that is the greatest gift that you can give anyone else. You can stay home and read a book. You can stay home and listen to the Dalai Lama on the YouTube. But what you can't get from the book or the Dalai Lama is the presence of another human being looking at you, listening to you, being with you fully. There's an incredible power in simply being present. Everything matters. Nothing matters. What happens eventually as we stay awake and experience life fully and let it go, we realize there is one thing that doesn't change. What is that? What is it that never changes? The one who is aware. The I am that is aware of this experience or that experience. See? So every experience changes, but that which is aware of the experience does not change. So to the degree that you are continuously aware, to that degree you are continuously connected with the deepest reality of your being. Same. As human beings, we say, I am this. I'm happy, I'm sad. I'm skinny, I'm fat. I'm young, I'm old. I'm smart, I'm dumb. I'm whatever, whatever labels you want to put on it. But none of that is real. What's real is the I am that is aware of and present to it all. So just to take an example, let's pick an experience. What do you want to experience? Let's pick a tough one. Let's pick fear. Anybody here ever feel fear? Okay. If you haven't, stick around. We'll help you out. Okay. So what happens when we experience fear for the first time? We're not even aware of ourselves, are we? We see only some object that's out to get us. Whatever that is, some monster's out there to chase us. That's all we see. As we become aware, we can say, I am experiencing fear. Okay, so the focus is removed from out there, and it's brought to my experience right here in this moment. I am experiencing fear. And I notice how the fear feels. And I notice how that changes from moment to moment. And as I do that, I realize that I am experiencing fear, but I'm not the fear. I'm not the fear. The fear isn't out there. The fear is simply an experience that's passing through. And I realize that this I am that's aware of fear or anger or whatever it is does not feel fear. In fact, that which is aware of fear will never feel fear. That which is aware of anger will never feel anger. And to the extent that we are identified with that I am, to that extent we can be in the world, we can have any experience whatsoever, and it falls off of us like water off of a duck's back. To the extent that we believe that we're human beings alone, that's when the fear, the anger sticks to us. So we relate to our experiences rather than from our experiences. Now, what about the monster out there that we were afraid of? Well, you know what? From that I am presence, we know exactly what to do in each moment. We know exactly what to do in each moment. We have been here as a species for millions and millions of years, and we've survived. We know how to survive. Spirit knows how to survive. So when we are unidentified with the experience, we become identified with that which knows what to do. And there is within each of us that knows how to respond optimally, perfectly, to every experience. But it's not the programmed human brain. It's the I am that is free from it all. The I am is much too vast to be understood by the human mind. So we just stop with I am. Emerson, Ralph Waldo Emerson, said, man is standing on the back of a whale fishing for minnows. We are standing on this power greater than anything in the universe. But we are searching for security in little places where the minnows live. And it doesn't work because the whale is too big to fit into the places where the minnows live. We're too big for the world. See, so many of us feel like we're too small for the world, but we're really too big for it. And so the world has conditioned us to say, you're not a whale. You're not a spiritual being. You're just little. You're just small. You're a victim. And you know what? When you hear those words, you call that the experience of hearing. It comes and it goes. The words are gone, and you're untouched by any of it. You're invincible, you see. You cannot understand it, but you can live it. You can be it. How do I know? You already are. You already are. There's nothing you need to do. When you know this, you will live from the very source of all life. You will live fully in the world, but not of it. And God bless you. And once again, thank you for your presence. Thank you.
Thank you for watching this message today. I'd like to invite you to join us in person here on campus at Unity of Houston for Sunday morning or Wednesday evening services. If you can't be with us here on our campus, you can still join us live on Facebook or on our website, unityhouston.org, Sunday mornings at 11 a.m. Central.